Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to the replay. Wow. Well, I have to say, I'm very excited. I have today and tomorrow off, and I have Sunday off, so I'm quite happy about that. And it's funny because sometimes you fight something and then it's exactly the thing that you need, but you're fighting it, right? Um, and I didn't think I would be able to take Friday off, but it worked out. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I need it. And so it's going to allow me to get to Manville a little bit quicker. So I'm going to be leaving to go to Manville Friday afternoon and there for the Shine um, Psychic Festival. Oh, see, I know where I'm going. I don't know what she calls it. So let me see if I'll bring it up. I'm so bad. I'm so bad. I know where I'm going. Just, let's see. This I'm on my old computer and it's so slow. So, yeah, Shine Psychic Fair and Market. So if you're in the Manville area, which is east of Edmonton, definitely go. I mean, this is something that's going to be pretty cool. Um, There's going to be a lot of readers there. All the readers are charging the same price, which I love. I think we're charging $40 um, for this. There's going to be healers. There's going to be vendors. Um, it's going to be pretty cool. It's in the hall there, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. It's the first time actually just going to a market, like just actually getting out and going to a market. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I am looking forward to connecting with a lot of beautiful people and a lot of like-minded healers and psychics. So that is going to be a lot of fun. So off to Manville I go tomorrow. So that'll be great. So hello, Lexi. Hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful day. So I've been doing some exploring and I took a little thing on Pluto and the information on Pluto. A lot of it I can't talk about here because unfortunately I'd get another strike. But it's the beautiful thing. There's a beautiful part to this. And the thing, the beautiful part is those who are coming out to discuss things, talk about information and energy and change and things like that. Um, You celebrated your birthday over 2 days. Oh, right. Happy birthday. Oh, and happy birthday to all my Geminis out there. Yes. Happy, happy birthday to you all. Yes. So um the energies, the thing is that if they're not going to talk about it or talk about things, then it's from the dark. You're going to find that there's going to be I'm going to call it a religious war. I mean, with some of the energies that are coming in, we haven't had um, I mean, with some of the transits and where Pluto is, I mean, not only is it going to be hitting the United States chart again and again, but Pluto will not be fully ingressed into Aquarius till November 16th, I believe, 2024. So we're going to be going back into this Capricorn energy. And the thing about Capricorn energy, and I wrote this down because it made sense to me, gave me a little bit more understanding, is like being Capricorn is the world. So Capricorn is the energy of the world. So with Pluto going back in there, it's the energy of the world. So still there's a lot to be revealed and a lot of information that's going to be coming up. And where Aquarius is society, is about our society, how our society's formed, how we connect, what is our society. And there is a lot of foreign entities that have come in within our society, and I think when Pluto going back into Capricorn, it's we're going to be witnessing um, a lot more of the deeper truths um, that are going to come up. Not the deep, deep truths, because that still is uncovering. But the whole piece to all of this is not to fall for the spell again, not to fall into the narrative that is going to be coming out and being spewed at us, and to really live your lives to the way you want to live your life, not to the life of living to the narrative that's going to be spewed out there. And this is where, especially with the energies that are coming in with the states and the Pluto return that's going to be hitting, the Pluto return. This is a reformulation of the United States. This is where there's a lot of grappling for the past and having wanting things to come back again, and especially when you're looking at even I'm going to take our Alberta election. People, yes, the conservatives won, and I think that that's a good thing going forward. And it's about going forward. It is not about grabbing the past. And that's a huge piece to the energies that are coming in. This is us to really allowing ourselves to move forward. And if we're pushing for things from the past, if we're pushing for things um and grabbing from the past, it's going to falter. It's going to falter. And I know it seems like a lot of things, especially when it comes to the economy and economics and everything like that, that yeah, we're going to be moving ahead. And yes, that's true. But how do I say? Just make sure you're stabilizing yourself and not putting all of your eggs in the basket that you think this is going to be your saving grace, that this is going to save us in some way. And that's where you're gonna get punched, like a throat punch, that you thought this was the right thing, and you're just grappling, you're thinking, "Oh, yeah, this is gonna be all rosy and keen," but it may not be as rosy and keen as what you think. I mean, there's always a winner and a loser to everything, and it might see like the winners are the great ones, and the ones that won is the greatness, and the ones that lost are the ones, yay that they lost and stuff. Um, there's underlying currents, especially with Pluto going back into Capricorn, that we have to prepare ourselves and not get lost in that, because there's a lot of what we call like zombie corporations or zombie governments. I mean, we're seeing, I think every government in the world is a zombie government. It's where you can get lost in a fear that, about the WEF or the WHO, and you get lost in their narratives of what they're saying, instead of really standing firm in your own self and what you want to build. Because when you start listening to all of that, or start putting your faith in something that is not sustainable, then you're going to find it can falter on you, and you're going to find that you got punched in the throat or punched in the gut. So this is where it's very important for you to stay firm in your own, in what you are wanting to build, in what is your own sort of truth. Because the thing is like with everything that's going to be unfolded over the next coming year or so, it's going to cause shockwaves to people, and it's going to cause shockwaves in what, in what, um, 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 in what, um is going to be unveiled more and more, and especially about the 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 elixir. And I mean, what came out in the EU, or was it EU or Britain, that they're saying for women, especially those who are wanting to have children, not they should not get it, and should avoid getting any extras because of the high rate of miscarriages and stillbirths. And um the other problem with a lot of women having, they're coming up with more and more about women having menstrual issues, and with their period and stuff. So this is where it's all of this is going to start coming out and being revealed more and more, and also what was in it. And I've already stated what was in it before, and I've gotten strikes. So I'm not going to state that again. If you are wanting to have a private conversation with me, and I'll tell you what's going on, and it's linking back to, and I did a whole, and I remember I channeled a whole thing about um how it links back to a certain person who said they killed themselves in a prison. But how could they have killed themselves in one of the most protected prisons in the world, right? And yeah, and it links back to him and some of the scientists that he was working with, and some of the people that he was working with, and to create a new race, I guess, and how that is affiliated with the shot, and how that it's just with this Pluto and unwrapping and the layers that are coming in. It really made me go, "Oh, okay. I was on, the right, I was on the right track." I mean, the deepest secrets of the elite and the attached to the past. Don't attach yourself to the past or past things, because you're gonna be disheartened with that. Your attachments are gonna be your downfall, that are coming forward. So if you're attached to a certain outcome, if you're attached and to a way things are supposed to be, or a way a person is supposed to be, you're going to be feeling very, very disheartened, very upset, because there's going to be, that it's being built on a lot of false claims. And the thing is, you can't be too attached to what the world is around you. I mean, when we look at a lot of this energy, it's going back to the King Henry VIII and Queen Elizabeth I, and that energy, and how things, the craziness of that world. You got to think about, you couldn't, if you said you were a Catholic, you could be killed. If you said that you were a Protestant in some places, you could have been killed. And this is where we are coming into a time where we're going to be seeing things flip around to like a religious war, where you can't say that you're an astrologer. You can't say that you're a psychic. It's going to, you're going to be deemed as a heretic, right? And it's the heretics that are the radical ones, that have caused the change, that bring forth the newness. And it's not that the darkness is going to win. The light is winning, the light will win, but it's where you're putting the energy towards, and what you're putting the energy towards, and not getting lost in the craziness of what is coming out and being said. And for a bit, I was getting lost in it myself, and then I had, um, listening to the Pluto course, and taking a step back, and I thought, "Okay, I have to take a step back, because, as I know, this is this is the darkness wanting you to play the game, wanting you to fall into this falseness, this false narrative again, and get all hung up on it instead of saying, people have to there's going to be a figuring out of things that people are going to have to do. And me getting upset or freaking out about it is not going to help matters any. And because there's just so much more that's coming forth in this world. Like it's like a total turning 360 and then turning another 360 and coming back a 180 and flipping in a whole new direction. That's where the energies are coming in. But the beauty of it all is like not only understanding and knowing it, but the beauty of it is being able to stand and stand in your own light, in your own self, and illuminate the direction that you want to go forth, and illuminate in it, and not get hung up on the politics, not get hung up on the politics, not get hung up in all of that, because there's, especially, even in the States, we're going to see, will there be I mean, is there a president now? You know, that's the thing, it's a puppet. It's a zombie president. Is there, even within Canada, it's like not, like people are getting hung up on this side and that side. Um, it's to not get hung up on either side. And if you're getting hung up that it has to be with this person or it has to be with that person, you're going to find that you're going to get very disheartened with this all, because the narrative that's coming forth and the changes that are coming in is where you really have to be within your own spiritual self and within your own light. And that's where the light workers come in, because you can't falter with yourself. You can't falter with your own energies and give it away to a lot of the darkness that is there, that really wants you to come into the arguments and come into that, because that's where the evil is. And that's where people get frustrated, because it's amazing. It's not amazing. It's how the darkness gets you hooked. And they get you hooked because they pull at your heartstrings, and the things that pull at your heartstrings. And that's where and then you can get lost into the darkness. Now, part of this, being cast, and it gave me an aha, because that Jupiter Pluto conjunction that happened in, 2021, it kind of threw me, because I was trying to really understand it. And then I got the aha, because the Pluto Jupiter conjunction, they're brothers. Hades is Zeus's brother. Hades fell in love with Persephone, and he went to Zeus, and they made a plan to bring Persephone to the underworld. Zeus was a part of it. Jupiter was a part of the plan to bring things to the underworld. And after a while, Persephone fell in love with Hades and the darkness and the coldness. And that's what you got to be aware of. Don't be falling in love with the darkness and the coldness. Don't be falling in love with what is being persuaded as something that is false, something that is not true to your own light, and staying within your own light. It's, falling in love with your own prisoner, with the person who has imprisoned you. And that's what you have to be aware of, because you can easily be led upon a path, and then all of a sudden you think, oh, everything's fine, everything's hunky-dory, I'm going to be okay, I'll just rest here, I'm not going to pursue anything more, I'm not going to say anything. And this is where you really have to be aware. and not allow for other things in darkness to take hold of you. So it's imperative that I believe that you should have your rituals, your way of connecting with your divine, and doing this on a daily basis. Taking time in the evening and doing your gratitudes and releasing whatever needs to be released from yourself at the end of the day. And so you're not hanging on to um, any negativity or any anger or resentment from that day. So you can allow yourself to be in the freshness and the newness. Um, so to start your new day for the and this full moon is a beautiful moon of it's in Sagittarius. It is a releasing energy. It is allowing us to release what we are able to let go of and allow ourselves to step forward into a higher energy, because that's what Sag is. It takes us to a higher height and allow ourselves to shoot the arrow and to embrace the newness that comes in. I know I sound so cryptic in my speaking, but since I'm on YouTube and Facebook, I really have to be aware of how I imply the information. But I feel there is some really beautiful energy that's coming in, and we just have to be aware of the foreign entities that are there. I mean, in 2019, it's where they saw the, I guess, the spaceship that was sitting out there, and I feel like spaceship was coming in to check on the quantum computer, which is its baby. It's amazing. And if you ever see that quantum computer, you can Google it, quantum computer, and it's quite interesting. It looks very alien, but it has to be spaced 6 feet apart. Just saying. And this is where feeding all the information to it, to simulate a video game to the world out there. What would you do? How would you do it? It's being played out now, right? So this is where it's like, okay, you know what? Let's E-Day, I would love to hang out in the backyard and barbecue and listen to you talk. Thank you. See, it's embracing the light and the love that you have inside, and really don't fall into the false narrative that's going to be projected even deeper than what it was before. I mean, 2020 was a setup to just get you to see if you can get who they can get hooked, right? When Pluto fully goes into Aquarius, that's where they're going to be, who is human? Who is human, right? All these checks that they're doing, you have to have a blue check to make sure that you're a human being, right? Um, because they don't want you in the AI, but it goes deeper than that. It goes deeper than that because there's been a change within the human DNA. It's been altered, and it's been altered in such a way that it's going to be changing how future generations, when they do appear in a very limited supply, how we regenerate ourselves. Because the alteration or the adultery that has been done upon the human race, and those who've stepped into this to it, um they have been adulterated. They've been, this is where you're going to be, call me crazy, but you're going to see where they're going to say, are they human or are they not? And this goes back to, a time when um when Hitler, he wanted to make the superhuman race, right? And he wanted to make the superhuman race. And this is, where Uranus is, at 20 degrees in Taurus, the height of World War II, when it was really starting to come in. And Hitler was really setting up these baby camps, and he really wanted to bring forth these baby camps. Well, somebody else was doing that recently and wanting to spread his DNA into everyone and everything. And and used a lot of impregnating women. And they would impregnate at least 20 women at a time. And some elites, and this is part of it coming in, to propagate so that their seed continues on. And how part of that with any aborted ones was used in experimental in different forms of elixirs that have been put in to humans. I don't know how else to say that. So it's quite interesting how my dog is going crazy because she hears a dog upstairs. So sorry. Hey, stop it. She's a crazy dog. So it's we're being there's a lot of false claims that are coming in, and we really have to stay in our strength, and we're going to find that we have to be strong as we go forward, because we are here to be the light workers. We're here to do the work that needs to be done, and not to push it aside. So I wish I could talk more clearly, but I really don't want to lose my YouTube page. I had, and I've already lost my Facebook page. And I tried, and I did everything everybody said to do, and I sent, and I did the verification and everything else, and they will not give it back to me because they don't like what was posted on my pages or the things that I said before. So, I must be doing something right. Must be doing something. So for all of us, I really want us to, if there's any doubts, to get over our doubts and know our self-worth. And this is to do everything we can to, a lot of times we'll do everything we can to rationalize things, but it's really for us to know that we are truly here and sent to be those lights and be that shining embers in the midst of great darkness that is there. And you will see that great darkness in crazy places. And I'm doing another deep dive down another crazy hole, and it's about transhumanism and where that transhumanism is coming from. And fuck, it just keeps linking back to that same person. And it's amazing. I don't know how, the power he got. But then I did another little dive, and his girlfriend had affiliations. Of course, she was from England, and her affiliations and her family have a link to a special family in England. And it's amazing when you start looking at that link and how that association is there, and the power, how that power stretches, and I've said this before. People don't they think that, the royal family is just, just there, right? But the royal family has power strong, like further than what you and I really will ever understand. And it goes, the far reaches go even further into You know, the Fed Bank in the United States is not owned by the United States. It's owned by the richest families in the world. And one of them is the King of England. So this is the the crazy, when you start looking at some of this the craziness of it all, and you're watching, Pluto going back to Capricorn, and you thought that we were over all of this. Oh no. This has to be shaken up. This shakeup has to happen in order for us to awaken even more and not take what we have for granted, not take our lives for granted, not take what we've been given by the divine and by the Holy Spirit for granted, because so many of us have, and just sort of submit it to the darkness and to what they've told us to submit to. And in submitting has altered so much within our world, and we don't realize it until it's too late, and we don't realize it until we wake up, and we see, and we see what has been done to the future, and to our future selves, and to the future of the planet, right? Somebody said to me, today, that there's too many people on earth. No, there isn't. There isn't. People are having less and less children. And you think about it, it's like, well, yeah, remember, they're over consuming. No, Mother Earth gives her children what she needs. The Mother Earth loves us, and will give us all that we need. It's here for us. It's how we utilize it. We definitely abuse a lot of it, but we need to really take a deep look into that, because without children, you don't have a future. There is no world. There is no humans. And some people think that's great. Well, that's fine for you, but I really would love to see my grandchildren. I really love to see my great grandchildren. And people talk about the expense in that, but it'll cost the world more. It'll cost you more than to raise a child. Right? It's just, and the more you have with children, the more you have is the more information and ideas that evolve. It's by, I think they were saying, by 2050. It's not that far away. You think that there's a lot of, like, well, we'll take Japan for an instance, that they have the inverted pyramid, where they don't have a lot of youth. They have a lot of old people. There's more people hitting their 80s than are hitting their 20s, which it shouldn't be. And so less and less are having children. And in doing that, it's actually killing off your race. It's killing off, you know, that history, right? So we have to really think about, what is being done here, how this is wanting, and this is something that's been going on for a long time. It started coming out in the 80s, and or even before the 80s, people were talking about this. And a lot of people, just, didn't want to talk about it. Same with feminism. It's that whole feminist movement. What was it truly about? When you really look at the practicality of it, yeah, equal rights for equal pay. Yeah, everybody agrees with it. But then again, when you look at what women go into school, go into university for, they don't go into university the same way men go into university. They don't take the same classes. They don't take the same courses. Very few women do. And so you look at what, the courses that a man will take and the things that they go into, yes, will get a higher wage. We're not saying that a woman who goes in to be a surgeon and a man goes in to be a surgeon, yes, definitely get the same pay. And if she's great, she gets more. But there's other, things that men go into, and it could be heavy duty mechanics. Very few women go into that. Many men do, right? They will get the pay for it. The woman who's a secretary in there is not going to get the same pay as the guy going out there being called out and fixing whatever at 3 o'clock in the morning for in a mining, fixing those mining trucks and stuff. It's totally different. And that's where we have to understand. So where did the movement come from? How was it started? What was it all about? Do a deep dive down that. It's amazing how that came in to be a demise of the family, to break apart the family, to break apart the family unit, because the government needed more taxes. They couldn't survive on a single taxed income. So that means one person would be going out earning a living and the other person would be raising the children, right? And keeping the household. Government didn't like that. They didn't want that. They didn't want, the prosperity of that. So it's a whole mind fuck that we've all been set up into. And this, with the Pluto coming in, is trying to shake us and awaken us. But it's so hard because it's been part of our truth, our so-called truth, for so long that it just makes us go, what? Are you serious? That can't be true. No, because even as us as Canadians, we've been raised for 100 years to trust our government, to trust, what we, that we could trust them. Now, within a short time, we can't trust our government. We can't even trust our news, our outlets, anything. They've all become those zombies, the zombie corporations, which are fed in by, just fed by nothingness. And you look up what a zombie corp is. You Google it, it'll tell you what it's all about. That's exactly what our government is, and that's how our government's run. It's run by, it has nothing, it has no backing. Our government has no tangibleness, right? Since the First World War. Yeah, it was the part is that, yes, and on average, if you go into, on average, most women, when they're doing the same job as a man, do get paid the same. you know it's interesting when you go into it, because most women, when you go into looking into the average of women going into being to school, they don't take the same courses. And that's what blew me away, right? Because when you say equal rights, equal pay for equal job, yeah, we all agree on that. But what's the equal job? What is it? What is that all about? Like, what is the example? And that's when you go and you look into it. Like, most women will go into nursing before they go in to become a doctor. On average, most women will go, if they go into law, they don't go further into law as what men will, or put the hours in. Some will, but on majority will not. So this is where, and then this is where a lot of women have put on hold their whole concept of having children. Oh, I wait, instead of looking at it, what, let's create. I can, the reverse can be said, where if you want to create a family, you want to create the wholeness, why can't we do that first? You can always go out and have your career, you can always go out and do those things, it's there. But our society has it in our heads that we have to do this, go out, get your career, do this first, before you come in to create that wholeness, that family unit. The family unit is important. It is important for a society. It is important for moral structures and values, right? And creating that light within the world around us, but they don't want it. All right? Why don't they want it? Because they want to control. They want to spread their own seed, which is the unholy seed. And in spreading that unholiness is not allowing for the truth and the light to be shone within the world. It's crazy. And more of this is going to be unveiled, especially more as, Pluto goes in. And we're going to be seeing, even in the States, the Civil War, we can start to see things that are coming in. Like, there's a certain governor in Florida, I think that he's more evil than what people, yeah, no. And he could be the dismantlement of bringing, again, the North and the South. And it's the thing is like when people come in and and we can bring up the North and the South and in the Civil War in the United States where people thought I have a right to, when people are grabbing hold to and thinking that they have a right to something, that's where it's like, oh no, oh no, you don't have a right to something, you don't have a right to all of that. I have a right to own this person. No, you don't have a right to own you don't have a right to own somebody. Right? That was the whole fight about. But this is where you're gonna even see where people think, "Well, I have a right to own a house. I have a right to own this car." Do you really? So this is all part of how things are going to be restructured, how things are going to take a huge change. And we have to be very aware of. We have to be, understanding of a lot that's coming in, even within AI. That transhumanism is very interesting because it's the altering of DNA. It's an altering of DNA, and part of that was funded by this person who supposedly killed themselves. And he was one of the biggest supporters and got a lot of big names to come in and support it. And yeah, it's amazing how deep the evil and the elites can go. But it's amazing how the sparks come out and start to light up as things start to crack and things start to break. And as we see this battle, this religious battle that is going to be taking place, that is going to, where they feel they have a right because that person looks different, that person is different. I'm going to beat them up. I'm going to shoot them. It's like when the Christians came over and with the natives, right? Oh, look at those savages, right? Going to Africa, look at those savages, they're not even dressed. Well, of course, because it's fucking hot. Why should I wear clothes when it's fucking hot outside? This is where judgment comes in, but what we're going to in this awareness of it is where the light is. It is in the discussing of this is where the light is. You find that those who don't want to discuss it, those who don't want to bring it out, those who don't want to talk about astrology or psychics or tarot or any of that, you're going to find that those are the ones that are going to be, part of the dark, part that don't want to discuss it, don't want to have a conversation about it. So it's bringing things out, bringing and talking about it and bringing the awareness is a positivity about it. It's not a negativity. The more awareness you have, the more power you have, the more you are able to stand firm in your light of who you are in having that understanding and creating those changes. It's playing it smart too. It's playing it smart, understanding your values. Uranus is hitting the 20 degree, the last decade of Taurus, and that's crazy power. It's crazy energy coming forth. And Jupiter coming in here, it's an expansion. It's expanding Uranus's energy because he's a big dude. He's going to expand the energy. He's going to create things even bigger than what they are. And with the grand cross that's in the sky and it's in fixed signs with Pluto and Mars in Leo is fire. I'm going to rage on. I need to have that rage. I need to have that energy. So here comes Mars coming in with a rage of energy as he is, across from Pluto and bringing that rage of Pluto, and they're squaring off to Pluto. So this square that comes in and across the nodes coming in and creating this energy that's challenging of us stepping forth into our values, into our deepness in our self-worthness of our truth and love is the biggest one. Stepping into that love of self, or love of, yes, this is what I want to create. This is how I'm going to consciously create this world of beauty. I'm going to consciously create where I'm going to bring forth um joy and peace and this within my life. Then that is the spark that's going to spark onto others through it all. And that's where we have to stand, and that's where we have to grow. It's a big one, and we're in it for a while. People thought, "Oh, well, it's gonna go, everything's gonna go fine." No, things are gonna get more chaotic and turned around than ever before. And it's gonna get totally dismantled, and it's gonna get totally fucked up. But within that fucked up and within that chaos, of course, Callie comes forward. It's going to create such beauty and joy that we never even thought would exist before, because we have to have that trust and faith, and not go into the fear, and not go into the craziness and think like, "Oh my god, all these people are coming out to mutilate my children." No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. So stay in that light, stay in that truth of who you are. So on that note, let me grab my notes here. Take some time to review your day, to review and connect with your essence. To review your day and acknowledge yourself for what you did well. And if you feel called, this is another great time to energetically connect with the version of you who already has what you want. Take that time. So before you go to bed, just take that time and connect and review. Give thanks for all that you have and all that is on the way. List it mentally. You don't have to write it down, just list it. And by the goddess within and the divine above, below, to the left, to the right, before me and behind me, I release and clear and return to divine source any energy that has been directed at me, consciously or unconsciously, that is not in my purest and highest good. I forgive all those from my present or my past whose actions require forgiveness, whether I'm aware of them or not. I forgive them, I love them, I bless them, I release them to the divine Mother, Father, Source to continue their soul's journey in co creative partnership. If there's anyone from my past or present who would be served by forgiving me, I invite and allow them to do so now. I forgive, love, bless, and release myself from any perceived wrongdoing. And I embrace that my life and all that is in it is a co creation with the divine. I embrace my power to choose and create my reality. May we all be free to continue our soul's path, grow, expand, and receive all of the good that is meant for us. It is done. It is done. It is done. Ho! Blessed be everybody. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say and all that you be and all that you do. Thank you for being a part of my community. Thank you for those who've seeked out and found me on Facebook. I'm there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I don't do TikTok very often. Every once in a while, I might do a TikTok. But blessed be everybody. Have a great one, and I love you all. Onwards and upwards. Bye-bye.